Hi there, Felipe here once again, your favorite creative designer from Germany, your favorite crazy creative designer from Germany. Thank you for taking a look at the video. If you're new here, hit the subscribe, and if you like the video, please hit the like. It's very much appreciated and means the world to me. So today I wanted to talk a little bit more about the developments from my Magic Phone Calculator. I'm gonna show you. So a while ago, I started working on it, and for those who are not familiar with the phone calculator, the Magic Phone Calculator is there to help designers and to help business owners and people who are working with websites, on websites, to find appropriate font sizes, because I've seen this is a huge problem in how to find appropriate font sizes, let's say for all the different hierarchies, right? For H1, H2, H3, H4, etc., and why we choose those different sizes, and also how to implement those as fluid typography on websites. That is one of the issues I've noticed with many designer friends, with many people who work with the web, and I've seen like catastrophic typography mistakes out there. And I think up until this day, it's still the most undervalued asset of a website, typography, and it is basically everywhere, so it should be taken care of. Typography and colors, that's like the major leagues of web design, and you really have to focus on it. If you really want to become a great designer, a fantastic designer who makes a difference, then you have to master typography to a level that pretty much nobody can. And to help myself on that journey and to help others, I developed the Magic Phone Calculator. The Magic Phone Calculator uses geometric sizes to spit out appropriate or ideal or adequate font sizes. Naturally, just suggestions. There are rules that are there to be broken, but as a guideline, as a way to get started with correct sizing and spacing of typography, then you can resort to the Magic Phone Calculator. So I'm going to show you. So our website, I'm going to link it below. It's completely free. You can check it out at any time. You can use it for your own projects, and I hope you do, because maybe it can help you become a better designer by using better typography. And with time, I'm going to update it. I have a lot of premium features that are going to come to it afterwards, but for now, feel free to check it out if you like, if you think it can be helpful. I'll put the link below, and yep, go visit it, take a look, try it out. So this is how it looks like, right? So I'm on the page here, and that's all we get to begin with. So what we need is, first of all, a basic font size. So it's just a basic input, right? And on the basis of this input, we're going to be calculating the different geometric sizes. So pre-filled is always 16 for 16 pixels, which is the standard for text on the web. And if I click on calculate, there you go, voila. Then it does in a fraction of seconds, it calculates for me different sizes, which are based on different geometric rules. And I'm going to go through them with you quickly. So as you can see here, we have in the different table columns and boxes, we have the different models, and we have a little bit of code, and we have pixels, etc. So what you see is a mix of the different models and how they can be applied on the web. Okay, so for example, for instance, let's take a look at the first one. Font size based on the golden ratio. The golden ratio is, if you don't know it yet, but I think most designers are going to be familiar with it, is around 1.618. And that is a universal constant that you can find in nature, that you can find in anatomy of different proportions. So take a look at that. It's really magical how math relates to geometry and design in this case. So 1.618, and many elements in nature are designed, be it fate or aesthetics or convergence, are designed with those proportions in mind. So case in point, the Vitruvian Man by Leonardo da Vinci. You know the illustration with the guy, with the naked guy? It looks a little bit like Jesus, but developed by Leonardo da Vinci, who understood the proportions. And I believe it was the proportions from your complete arm up until your elbow divided by something I can't remember right now. But take a look at that. You find that this proportion, this ratio, can be found in nature, also in butterflies, for example. Like the relation of the wingspan to the wing size, something like that. I don't have all examples in mind right now, but it is a constant in nature for whatever reason, and it translates into aesthetics, which in turn translates into web design and typography. So what you get is here, you get the input, which is the 16 pixels, right? That we input. That's a neutral, that's the starting point. And then you have steps, negative steps and positive steps, which means we have multipliers down and up, right? So if we take the 16 pixels, which corresponds to one rem, right? Rem is a responsive EM, which is a responsive web design unit, corresponds to 16 pixels. So if we take 16 divided by the golden ratio, which is 1.618 something, then we will get 9.89 pixels. So you have one step down, right? Which corresponds to, now that I think of it, actually the negatives should be below and the positives on top. I have to change that. So you divide it and then you get like one step down. So let's say, for example, your heading 1 is 16 pixels, just as an example. Then your heading 2 could be 9.89 pixels. Then your heading 3 could be 6.11 pixels, which corresponds to this one, negative input 1, divided again by the golden ratio. And then again, and again, and again, until you get to 1.44 pixels. And that's exactly the other way around, but to the positive. So 16 times 1.618 instead of divide, then you get this, and then you get this, and then you get this. So it's an increasing scale, positive and negative values according to the golden ratio. And the cool thing is, if you go down a little bit, you find the CSS for these different inputs and steps. Okay, so for example, you have the golden ratio base, that would be a class, which corresponds to 1 rem or 16 pixels. And then you have the golden ratio -1, which will be one step down, which is this. And then -2, -3, -4, etc. So you can, first of all, you can use the classes and apply these font sizes according to your model to those classes. And this is something you're going to find in the other models as well, right? So if you go to the right here, you have it based on pi, and pi is like 3.14 something. So similar to the golden ratio, it's also a constant in nature. And then you get 16 divided by 314, which is this, and then divided again, and again, and again, and again. It's a more crass scale than the golden ratio, almost double, right? Which is why we get much larger numbers. So you have to be wary of, you're never going to be using 5,000 pixels on web design. Maybe like in print design, that is an option, but still you have the possibility to calculate forward steps and backward steps based on pi. And then you continue with the majors and minors. Those are based on the harmonic scales, or musical scales, right? And I don't remember the inputs off the top of my head right now, but it's a somewhat smoother scale, in that it scales much more linearly forward and backward. So it's much softer, and there are many more steps, right? So we can start with the input as 16 pixel, then you get 17, 18, and then you go down again. So there are a couple of bugs here, but I'm working on them. And then you have the CSS again. So next one will be Fibonacci sequence, which corresponds to, is a scale where the last two numbers equal the current number. So for example, it starts at 0, and then 1, and then 1, and then the sum of 1 and 1 will be 2. And then the sum of 2 and 1 will be 3. Then the sum of 3 and 2 will be 5. So it's 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, because the sum of 5 plus 3 is 8, etc., etc. So that's the Fibonacci scale. It's also very soft, and it converges with the golden model at a specific point in time, but it's also very interesting. And then we have 4 pixel steps, which is a design rule, basically, so that you, if you want to go up, you go up by 4 pixels. If you want to go down, you go down by 4 pixels. it's very common among designers, and it's very valid as well. But as you can see, it's much more linear as well, you know. And then you have line heights based on multipliers. That's something I'm not going to get into right now. And then if you continue here, this is where you're going to find the responsive design formula. So you're going to find the CSS to implement those scales with those sizes in a fluid manner on the website. So let's go to the majors and minors, for example. You have different steps. You have base, large, medium, small. Then as you can see, I've used clamp function, CSS clamp function, to create a system that scales fluidly, not responsively, fluid. I should write fluid design formulas here instead of responsive. But if you scroll down a little bit, you can find the CSS code for that, which is font size is clamp this. That would be the responsive base large, which is the base. There you go. That will correspond to this one. Then you can go here to the golden ratio large, golden ratio medium. That's all based on the basic input of the 16 pixels that we have, right? And calculate it here. And then you can just copy paste basically the CSS and apply it to the class that you want to apply it to. And you can even use the button copy CSS, and then it's going to be automatically copied to your clipboard. And yeah, and it continues with pi and Fibonacci in 4 steps. Here, because we have so many majors and minors, you have to expand this little button here to see all of them. Otherwise, it's very difficult to keep an overview. But as you can see, yeah, like majors and minors are huge. There are many elements to the scale, and so I decided to, condense it here a little more. But yeah, feel free to check it out. I'm working on improvements. I'm working on more intuitive scaling and UI. And also I'm going to be working on visual representations where you can get live previews and where you can get live visual scales, visual geometries together with live preview of text. I'm working on that, and it's going to come soon. So stay tuned, and if you like the tool, check it out. Feel free to use it. Feel free to share it. I would love it. I would love it if it can already help you become a better designer. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it. Yeah, it got cut out. So feel free to check it out. Feel free to hit me up if you have any questions, if you have any ideas as well. I'd love to hear that. And if you found some value from the video, hit the like button, subscribe. It means the world to me. And once again, I'm gonna put everything in the description below so you can check it out yourself. Thanks. Cheers. It's Guesswork. See you next time.